8 minutes, 46 seconds. Sufficient time for mankind to receive a reality check, be given a wake-up call, and learn an unequivocal, undeniable, unambiguous lesson. For in an act that violated the very core of civilization, the world was left aghast, in uproar, horror, and moral indignation, as it bore witness to one of the most traumatizing, nauseating, and brazen examples of crimes against humanity, committed not by a member of the public, but by reason of police brutality. In an uncanny and increasingly commonly observed reversal of roles, the victim was a civilian who had visited a convenience store, the perpetrator a uniformed officer tasked with the duty of representing, enforcing, and upholding the law. 8 minutes, 46 seconds. The crushing force of your body weight channeled into one knee pressed upon my neck is excruciating, overpowering, overbearing, overwhelming. You are suffocating me, depriving me of air when all I yearn for is that you treat me in a manner that is proportionate, equitable, humane, just, and fair. With every vestige of strength, I muster one more breath, oblivious to the fact that the moment you laid eyes upon me, I may as well already have been sentenced to death. To you, I was another guilty suspect. You treated me like prey, showing me no dignity, no respect. You refused to look beyond the colour of my skin and judge me simply on the basis of the packaging I was dispatched, delivered, and arrived on the earth in. I suffered asphyxiation, suffocation, and strangulation, when the fundamental necessity of enjoying a dignified human existence and engendering peace within society is freedom, equality, respect, communication, and emancipation. As breath was deliberately extricated and extinguished from life, racism glared with a look of nonchalance, arrogance, and open defiance, believing that as in times past he'd be supported by an institution upon which he had learned he could confidently place his trust and base his ultimate reliance. An organisation that would undoubtedly back him up, where questions would be left unanswered, irregularities overlooked, boxes ticked, misconduct swept under the carpet, whilst being offered complete protection, during which time he could expect to receive promotion and advancement, as opposed to facing disciplinary action and adequate correction. If in a democracy the welfare of the people is truly the supreme law, then the legal systems of this world have proved woefully inadequate and have much to answer for. For I was arrested, charged, indicted, tried, and executed on a street in full view of the public, but in the absence of legal representation, without adherence to constitutional, federal, or state legislation. I was denied due process, prevented from receiving help or defending myself. I was forced to relinquish my inalienable human rights. My well-being wasn't safeguarded. This all happened during the day, not at night. Even though your colleagues observed, watched, looked, then turned a blind eye, they will undoubtedly have heard my agonizing pleas, my anguished gasp for breath, my desperate, heartfelt cry. As each moment passes, life is slipping away. Struggling, I reach out for oxygen, but I am deprived, smothered, cloaked in, as the premature, untimely call of death closes in, hovers over, and beckons my unexpectant soul to its precincts today. 8 minutes, 46 seconds. The practice of acting with impunity and systematic immunity, exceeding your powers in any of 24 hours, has been exposed and revealed. It has been fully disclosed and can no longer be concealed. You showed no remorse as you exerted excessive force. You did as you pleased, as you pressed and you squeezed in the name of law and order. But regardless of how you seek to justify events or minimize your conduct, to many minds, this was cold-blooded murder. What global viewers observed was more than a fleeting glance. It is clear from recent events that civilization and civilized policing have failed to advance. What are the ramifications of this humiliating abomination? Will the system explain away yet another homicide? Like my predecessors, ancestors, and kinsmen, for my heritage, will I be derided, dishonoured, and despised? Am I now an additional statistic who unfortunately tragically died? If, as a result of racial profiling, I am acting suspiciously because I am black, then I, my family, progeny, community, and ethnicity will automatically, systematically, nonsensically, whether consciously, subconsciously, or unconsciously, forever be under attack. Prejudice must be uprooted. Injustice, learn this lesson. Depravity and barbarity of this type is prevalent and indicative of the activity and outworking of the tentacles of historic Western oppression. The world witnessed the actions of evil wearing a uniform as some sort of disguise in an attempt to give it a semblance of propriety, probity, legality, a form of lawful recognition and official expression, and by reason of so doing to legitimize and thereby authorize, whilst it openly intimidates, displays, flaunts and parades aggression, oppression, subjugation and suppression before our incredulous eyes. This behaviour has unceremoniously ruptured the concept of impartiality and proportionality within authority. Flawed with disorder, this is not law and order. How long will jurisdictions judge unjustly and accept the testimony of the wicked? Faith in law enforcement agencies and the authorities is at its bleakest. Confidence in police officers and commissioners worldwide at its weakest. Many governors and heads are in denial. Others have yet to realise their legal systems are now on trial. This evil is too much to bear. The scales and balances are uneven, unequal, unfair. Silence. Your absence of sound speaks volumes. It is noticeably explicit. By sitting quietly on the fence at such a time as this, you come across as aloof, indifferent, or complicit. Generations will grieve that justice herself can no longer breathe. She cannot be done nor be seen to be done in a minimal justice system that is contaminated, tainted, tarnished, ingrained and impregnated with iniquity, rank with discrimination and inequality, compromised with corruption and impropriety, decadent as a result of racism and hypocrisy within society. There are calls to defund the police, as the catalogue of complainants of miscarriages of justice similarly executed, gradually lengthens and increase, in addition to those who, having been held captive, are seeking restitution, restoration, redress, compensation, and an early release. The outpouring of grief of disproportionate numbers of non-white victims cries out in protest, proclaiming that black lives are of equivalent significance and also matter. Ethnicity was never designed to be a standard of value measurement. Such comparisons are futile. As history has shown, anyone perceiving the human species in this way does so to his own and everyone else's detriment. Race should not be used by educational institutions, the media, or the authorities to project white supremacy, self-importance, or superiority, to whitewash history or to perpetuate a myth, to make me wrongly believe that I am inferior and you are somehow superior by elevating your exterior and ignoring my interior. It's time for a solution. It's time for restitution. Let's not sidestep the issue with talk of another review. Williams, Lammy, Scarman and McPherson have given us sufficient information over the years to implement reparation for those who look like me and don't think like you. 8 minutes 46 seconds I'm in the arms of my mother, comforted by the one who, aside from the creator of mankind in whose likeness and image I was formed and designed, loves me like no other. They tell me those 8 minutes 46 seconds will not have been in vain, for the world will always remember and honour my name. Members of the human race, concerning the question of pigment, reflect for a second and pause. George Floyd's blood was red. What colour is yours?